Hello friends, have a good time. We are at your service with Shabnameh. Last day, we witnessed the speech of the leader of Iran, one of the most important annual speeches of the leader of Iran. Talks in which special points are mentioned, which is a part of points that can be considered in a very important way in the framework of issues and concepts of civilization. Therefore, I preferred to have a review in it. It is important to review these talks. Friends, today we are at a point in history, if we do not act vigilantly, not only Iran. Many countries are at least 100 years behind the West. They fall back at least 100 years. They are working on technologies, and they are in a hurry, and they are accelerating. This discussion of America's confrontation with China over the issue of semiconductors is very prestige. Look, what I'm telling you about the China issue is not in this sense. That if China can defeat America, the world, for example, maybe it will get out of being under the control of a certain group. No. It's not like this. Anyone can take power in this field, and anyone can dominate the field of technologies, especially artificial intelligence, which the world is working hard on. Of course, he will use a part of it for his own benefit. What is part of it? If he can, he will use it all for his own benefit. His heart cannot burn for God's sake and for you and me. Similar to the days when everyone was trying to reach the atomic bomb as soon as possible, and others said, if so-and-so arrives, we will arrive sooner so that we are not in a position of weakness. Many people in the world have no understanding of this issue. Iran is making efforts. Young people in our country are focused on this issue. One should pray. We must pray that what they are doing will come to fruition. However, I must also say that, in comparison, now the young people who, and those who, are working in Iran on the issue of artificial intelligence, they are a head and neck higher than many in the world. We are among the first 10. But, in any way, this story is a story that, first of all, is very unpredictable, this new world we are talking about. And second, others have accelerated their work, which is worth considering. I would like to read to you a part of the speech of the leader of Iran, which nicely mentioned this period of time. He mentioned this in part of his speech yesterday. Certainly, in the era of artificial intelligence, and quantum, and the internet and the like, scientific advances, it is not possible to work today with the same methods of 40 years ago, in the era of old phones and old audio recorders, with those tools. Today, in order to advance this goal, the tools must be chosen according to the time. There is no doubt about it. Tools change. But, what does not change is the fronts. We need to update ourselves. When he went to work on advanced weapons, you should be able to build drones. You must be able to build a rocket. You should be able to do something that, among the Americans, the one who has tasted the power of Iran, when he returned to America, Marco Polo, when he returned, said one thing to a group of people. When Mackenzie left West Asia, he said, let's do something in the field of conventional weapons. Why? Because here he had tasted the power of these, and this was a bad blow in West Asia. Both in terms of casualties in the field and casualties of the military forces, who censored many of these. And they did something secret. And there are videos, pictures and documents that show that America was hit terribly in this area, in these years, in this area. And it did not make a sound. Oh, it didn't say either. In this area, what he brought to the Americans was that, sir, do something in this field of conventional weapons. Why? Because I realized that I have to improve in this area. In this field, a head and neck. Let's come in away from them. Above that, I have nothing to say. To this point, he is pointing out that, in the field of power, you must do something. You have to do something in the field of tools. That you do not fall behind. We are definitely behind in the media now. The next issue that he points out is that these tools change. The fronts will never change. The fronts of the enemy, the arrogant front, the coercive front, the Zionist front, and the powerful, oppressive, and aggressors of the world, lined up in front of the Iranian nation today as well as yesterday. I will say something in parentheses. When we talk about fronts, now many people say to themselves, sir, an Islamic Republic has found something called an enemy. In the same way, he looked at the West and said, enemy, it's not going to happen without care. How long does he want? How long are you going to call them enemies? Let's go talk to them. It's not their enmity with the Islamic Republic at all. The issue of the Islamic Republic is not at all the topic of the discussion they have with Iran. The story is much more than that. The story is that, in the world, Some people should be bullies. Some people should accept force and accept coercion. When you accept force and coercion, sit in your own house. I will produce content for you, whenever I want. You should have a gay month in the history of your country. Follow what I am saying culturally. Brace yourself. I'm about to inflict pedophilia on you soon. What is your diet like? What do you like? Do the Chinese eat dogs? Do the Chinese eat insects? Eating these are all bad. But, now it's bad. Wait till I tell you. Oh, Angelina Jolie is promoting insect eater. That one is promoting eating pigs. What are these? Where in the world was this? Where did you get these? He is making it attractive with the media. Both lifestyle, food, behavior, politics, and economics. He has mastered everything in the world. Sir, they have mastered everything. The problem is not the problem of Iran. You should not be in a position of coercion, be coerced. If the West manages to keep the world in this position, it can keep Africa in this position, which it definitely can. To keep Asia in this position, it can definitely be a part of it. America can still keep Europe with itself, which it certainly can in a part of it. In such a situation, the world will be depreciated. You have no choice but to make the nations join him as slaves. Now this has happened in many places, and the nations do not understand the problem. I explained that the issue of enmity is being raised. It is not a way that we have a personal enmity with someone, and this is what we are saying. No. As a civilization, I do not have the right to shrink in this area, and for 44 years, I realized that this was not my right and it is not. As this civilization, I became the flag bearer of these words. Otherwise, other nations also understand these stories, and they cannot do anything. Let's check the continuation together. In the continuation of his speech, he points out one point. He says, and that difference is that the Iranian nation has become stronger. And these have become weaker. Sir, this is the headline of the newspaper during the sale of Bahrain. The headline of the newspaper 10 years before 1978, when Bahrain separated from Iran. Look at that top. Where is that ruin that we are looking at? Why? Sir, Ayatollah Khomeini, who came himself, settled where he went. That is completely ruined. Iran has also been ruined. Hajj sir, what is this situation? We saw the glory and power of the king. We saw the glory of the king. We lost them. Of course, now, I'll see the newspaper in a moment. Yes. In the newspapers that we are checking, the headline Khorramshahr is freed. This time differs from other times. Iran is no longer the previous Iran. May the king have greatness and strength. For the first person of the country, the Ayatollah's turban, for example, they should go from some part of the world, so and bring the best things. But, if you hit his head, and take Bahrain from him, take other places, he can't do anything wrong. This model has changed. When I talk about Iran before 1978 and after 1978, there is always one thing in my mind. All those who played a role in the 1978 revolution must answer us. Why didn't you do this 10 years earlier? Why 10 years? Is Bahrain not important to you? Isn't the soil of Iran important? Isn't the homeland important to us? We had bought all these weapons from America. We had all these possibilities. Why couldn't a single bullet of our army fire towards Bahrain? These words make me sad. It bothers me that I am repeating them again. That the people of Bahrain, based on what is stated in the historical evidence and documents, they would go to the beach and sit, so that the imperial army would come and save them. Where should we say these things? That all these are part of the truth of Iran. A Bahrain seller, found today, says, Islamic Republic came and destroyed Iran. It remains for these body to stand up. It remains for this figure to stand tall in this area, and now, speak from a high position. But, these days will not be late. As long as we don't forget the fronts. Sir, these divisions are not lies. That there have been what can appear like a dangerous valley in front of our movement is that we forget these enmities. Let's forget about these fronts. Whenever we forget, we get hit. These developments have stubborn enemies. He has enemies full of malice. All over the world, there are those who are thinking of invading the nations. They are thinking of invading other countries. They attack every country they can attack, build a base, steal its oil, massacre its people, commit any crime they can. It exists. If the Iranian nation wants to move against this movement, what tools does it need? I say it needs the same software that the Imam had in his being, and advised the people, that is, faith and hope. I will tell you something in parentheses about Ayatollah Khomeini. You see, at the height of the activity of the Islamists, in the West Asia region, and at the height of the rising voice of armed Islamists, someone has been found, you must go. For example, kiss the hands and feet of this one. I swear to God, say Iran once in your words. But, why do you keep saying Islam? Does not give up, will not give up. It marked the revolution of 1978, standing in the middle of Iran. Every time you take the podium towards him, he says, we are the standard bearers of Islam. Those who are Muslims, come to us. Whoever is in this area, follow us as an example. Sir, take a role model from Iran. What does that mean? He is saying, make a revolution. What will happen if they make a revolution in Turkey? 1978 revolution happened in Iran. If they decide to make a revolution in Turkey, what will happen? What will happen to Iraq? What about others? Sir, the order of the world is collapsing. That's exactly what he wanted. This is exactly what he was looking for. And he was explaining. He said, Sir, I am standing in the middle, I am the flag bearer of Islam, come to me. We should all try to keep faith and hope alive in this country. Those who are against us lost the game. I think that's enough. I don't have any other points. If you have any points, please send them in the form of a message. It will help this report to be more complete with your message. Dear friends, I am very sincere. I have a lot of devotion. Have a good time.